Well, good evening once again, Justice Warriors. I suppose I have to say I'm highly delighted that we're getting to see John Ferak, author of the Wrecking Crew, getting back into this case with this article. Let's pop that up there. Let's do that. Let's pop that up there. Yeah, let's do that. And now let's run through what. So this is the patch, Milwaukee patch, and this is from John Ferak, and he said earlier this evening he was going to write about it. So to look forward to this, and you know, as a big John Ferak fan, I must say I certainly am. Zellner drops biggest evidence bombshell in Stephen Avery case. Prominent wrongful conviction lawyer Kathleen Zellner believes the recent development should get Stephen Avery a new trial. This is John Ferak of the patch, posted Monday, April the 12th at 3:06 p.m. So what's that, 9:06 in the UK? Anyway, let's carry on down, see what John has written. First of all, that's obviously Kathleen Zellner's RAV4 with the license plates MAM2, but registered in Illinois, so not US Dairyland. But anyway, Kathleen Zellner was the main focus of the second season of Making a Murderer, which aired on Netflix on October 2018 on Brendan's birthday. Anyway, Manitowoc, Wisconsin, a former Gannett, Wisconsin newspaper delivery, I'm going to use the American, right? We would say route driver, has come forward and signed a sworn affidavit attesting that he notified Herman and Co., Ken Peterson and Co., the Manitowoc County Sheriff's Office at the time of Teresa Halbach's disappearance, that he saw Bobby Dassey and another man moving Teresa's RAV4 to the Avery property. Downers Grove, that's where Kathleen Zellner is. Illinois wrongful conviction lawyer Kathleen Zellner filed a motion Monday afternoon, well, this afternoon in Manitowoc County, accusing prosecutors of Stephen Avery of committing a Brady violation. Prosecutors and police are not allowed to hide exculpatory evidence that may be favorable to a criminal defendant in preparation for trial. Zellner remains determined to regain Avery's freedom in the murder case that has gained international fame following the December 2015 docuseries Making a Murderer. Kathleen told Patch that Monday. How did Kathleen Zellner tell Patch? I think Kathleen Zellner, John Ferak got in touch with Kathleen. Okay. That Monday's filings marks the biggest development in her effort during the past 5 years of winning Stephen Avery's freedom. This is an evidence bombshell in the Avery case, she said. So she knows. We consider it the most significant witness evidence ever in the case. And it's an objective, non-biased witness who notified police in 2005, and he was ignored. I think Stephen Avery never would have been convicted had this evidence been known during his trial, and it destroys Bobby's credibility and links him to the crime, Kathleen said. Kathleen Zellner was the main focus of the second season of Making a Murderer. Anyway, Kathleen's April 11th motion states that new witness Thomas Sawinski came forward and notified her that he was a motor route delivery driver for Gannett newspaper, Wisconsin newspapers, which is the largest newspaper publisher in Wisconsin. Back in 2005, Thomas delivered newspapers to the Avery salvage yard along Avery Road during the early morning hours of November the 5th, 2005, which was a Saturday. Prior to delivering the newspapers to the Avery salvage yard, he turned onto the Avery property and witnessed two individuals, a shirtless Bobby Dassey and an unidentified male, suspiciously pushing a dark blue RAV4 down Avery Road towards the junkyard, Zellner's motion stated. The RAV4 did not have its lights on after Mr. Sawinski drove by Bobby and the other individual and delivered the papers to the Avery mailbox. He turned around and drove back towards the exit. When he reached the RAV4, Bobby attempted to step in front of his car to block him from leaving the property. Mr. Sawinski was within 5 feet, almost 2 meters, less than 2 meters of Bobby, and his headlights were on Bobby during this entire time. Mr. Sawinski swerved into a shallow ditch to escape Bobby and exit the property. Kathleen's filings go on to explain after Mr. Sawinski learned that Teresa Holbach's car was found later in the day on November the 5th, 2005, he realized the significance of what he had observed and immediately contacted Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department and spoke to a female officer reporting everything he has stated in his affidavit. However, the County Sheriff's Department was not interested in learning additional details surrounding the disappearance of Teresa. Kathleen's motion reflects. The officer said, "We already know who did it. Why do we need you?" Mr. Sawinski provided his phone number and was told that the Manitowoc Sheriff's Office would contact him, but it never did. Zellner's motion in her post-conviction filing informs the special judge from the special judge, I like that, the special judge from neighboring Sheboygan County that Bobby Dassey was the state's primary witness against Steve at his trial. During his opening statement, Sweaty explicitly informed the jury of the significance of Bobby's observations on the date of Teresa's disappearance. There's her tweet. Zellner's motion aims to convince this judge, Judge Angie, to overturn Avery's first-degree murder conviction. After several years of investigating the case herself, Zellner said she remained steadfast in her belief that Bobby was responsible for killing Holbach, who disappeared on Halloween 2005. The state suppressed the evidence of Mr. Sawinski's report to the Sheriff's Department that he had witnessed Bobby and another individual in possession of and moving Teresa's vehicle onto the Avery salvage yard after Teresa's disappearance and prior to her vehicle's discovery. Kathleen wrote, the suppressed evidence from Mr. Sawinski was favorable to the defense and material to the pivotal issue in trial because it would have destroyed entirely the credibility of Bobby as the state's primary witness, established that Bobby was directly involved in the murder of Teresa Holbach, and established that Bobby planted evidence to frame his uncle Stephen Avery. During Monday afternoon's phone interview, Kathleen told Patch that, I think this evidence shows without a doubt that Steve deserves a new trial. In past court filings, Teresa has also accused Bobby's stepfather, Scott, of being a co-conspirator. On Monday, Kathleen said that the Gannett, Wisconsin newspaper delivery driver's description of the man with Bobby Dassey does not match the description of Scott Tadich, and it certainly does not match Stephen Avery. The man with Bobby Dassey moving the RAV4, Zellner said, looked to be at least 6 feet tall, and he had a beard between 8 inches to 12 inches long. The following information is the affidavit from Sawinski, the former Wisconsin newspaper delivery driver. 1, I am of legal majority and can truthfully and competently testify to the matters contained herein based upon my personal knowledge. The factual statements herein are true and correct to the best of my knowledge, information, and belief. I am of sound mind and I am not taking any medication, nor have I ingested any alcohol that would impair my memory of the facts stated in this affidavit. I resided in Manitowoc, Wisconsin for over 20 years. In 2005, I was employed as a motor route driver at Gannett Newspapers, Incorporated, and delivered papers in and around the Avery salvage yard. While delivering papers, I drove my personal car, which was a tannish gold 4-door sedan. I cannot recall the make and model of the car at the time. On Saturday, November 5th, 2005, I was delivering papers on the Avery salvage yard in the early morning hours. Before sunrise, I drove down Highway 147 and turned left onto Avery Road. So you would have been coming from Mishicot, turning left. Soon after I turned onto Avery Road, I witnessed an individual who I later realized was Bobby Dassey and another unidentified older male pushing a dark blue, because it appears blue unless you get very bright light, RAV4 down Avery Road on the right side towards the junkyard. Bobby Dassey was shirtless, even though it was early November. The second man appeared to be in his 50s or early 60s, had a long grey beard, was wearing a worn, puffy jacket, had a larger frame, and was around 6 feet in height. The RAV4 did not have its lights on. Attached and incorporated herein is Exhibit A. As Exhibit A are photographs marked where I saw the RAV4. I drove down the Avery Road towards the mailboxes, left the Herald Times in the mailbox, and turned back around. I felt very afraid as I approached the two individuals, because Bobby Dassey attempted to step in front of my car, blocking my exit. I was within 5 feet of Bobby Dassey and my headlights were on the entire time. The older man ducked down behind the open passenger door. I swerved to the right and drove in the shallow ditch to avoid hitting Bobby Dassey. I called out, "Paperboy, gotta go," because I was afraid for my safety. Bobby looked me in the eye, and I could tell with the look in his eyes, well, you can't tell anything, but that he was not happy to see me there. But I would suggest it was his overall demeanor. It's really what you're trying to say. I knew that Bobby Dassey and the other individual were, well, you can't say they're doing something creepy other than the fact that they're pushing a car at this time in the morning, and Bobby's not got a shirt on, which would seem rather bizarre. I think you've read most of this, and I'll pop this in the description. I don't think there's anything more to add there. Okay, let's leave it there. So yeah, great to see John Ferak back on the case. Actually, that's not true. He's always been following the case, but he's just happened to do so down in Juliet, but it's still nice to see John Ferak doing an article. And obviously when significant events such as today's motion come forward, like the rest of us, wants to add his expert opinion on it. So anyway, there you go. We'll catch you all again soon. Thanks for joining. Bye for now.